Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, welcome to our very short demonstration of the Kennel Club's Good Citizen Dog Training Scheme.
Four, three, two, one. Thunderbirds are go.
And welcome to the Kennel Club's Good Citizen Dog Training Scheme and our opening sequence in which we saw various elements of the scheme being displayed. And we're going to look at those in a little more detail now. And we're going to start with the foundations, the basics, and how we build that up through the stages, from the puppy foundation to the bronze, the silver and the gold levels. So we can see a bit of puppy play going on here with our young dog. We've got some food manners taking place here, teaching our dogs how to be well-mannered when taking food. But not just when they take food, it's when they're out and about, how they have to ignore food. And we look at that in more detail when we get into the silver and gold levels of the scheme. We've got teaching the dog how to go to the bed. The bed for the dog is a safe place in the home or environment. So here we are, teaching the dog how to stay safe. Moving across now, we're going to look at the recalls, and we're starting with the puppy recalls. So we see our puppy's young dog on the lead, and you can see moving backwards, calling the dog, keeping it on the lead all the time. And then we progress to the bronze level, where we've got the dog off of the lead, walking away, and then recalling the dog from a stationary position. And then we look more closely at the silver and gold levels, where we've got the dog moving and then coming back to us and walking and continuing to walk as we recall the dog. And we'll just watch little Bourbon here. Tev walks away. This is a gold level. She'll call the dog to her side. and then return. And a lovely stay here. Moves us on nicely into the dogs working on different surfaces. When we get our young dogs, they're not used to different surfaces. They get used to your home very quick. But we're looking here, we've got artificial grass that we're working on at present. This is very strange to the dog. We've got some different surfaces here. We've got cardboard, we've got cloth, we've got paper. So teaching them different surfaces to walk over. And we're also handling the dogs, getting them used to being handled. Here we can see a dog being towel dried, rubbed all over. But we need to get them used to being handling for things like when we go to the vets, or if you leave your dog at kennels or grooming parlours and things like that. And we're also looking at how we come in and out of doors and gates. This could be your front door, could be the door to your car. And we're looking for the dog to be well-mannered and under control as we walk through the gate. And always remember in the country code, if we're out and about, we close every gate behind us. Well done. And here we're looking at road walk, walking with our dogs when we're out and about. And this scheme is all about everyday life with your dog. It's about what we do when we're out and about. And of course, we take our dogs out for exercise every day. So here we can see dogs crossing the road. They're kept on the lead. Here we are. Look left, look right. Green cross code. Well, that shows my age, doesn't it? Walking at different speeds, walking at different paces. Ensuring that we have a dog under control at all times. Here we see the dog walking at a slightly slower pace, perhaps a little bit slower than usual. It might be that we're walking into some kind of danger. And we're going to move on to the car now. If we're out and about, sometimes we take the dog out in the car. So we're going to look at two ways of car travel with our dogs. Of course, the highway code says we must keep dogs restrained in a car from disturbing the driver. So let's see how we get on with this drive. Oh dear, Heath's driving again. We've had an accident, but the dog wasn't restrained in the car. Whilst the handlers were kept safe from their seat belts, the dog has been projected through the car windscreen, and it doesn't look good for this dog. Let's see how we should travel with a dog in a vehicle. So this time, we've got a cage in the back of the car. Cage, sometimes you might call it a crate. You can also secure the dog on a special dog harness for seat belts. It plugs into the seat belt system, or it might be segregated in the hatchback of the car. But this time, she's very brave to get in with Heath again, but let's go for a drive again. Oops, Heath's premium's gone through the roof today. But the dog was kept safe. It might be a little bit shaken, it might be a little bit confused, but we've kept the dog safe in an accident. So we get the dog used to vehicle control at the silver level of the scheme. Well done, folks. Now, I said this was about everyday life, and we're going to look at a park scene now, where we take the dog out into the park. Now, of course, 365 days a year, dog owners use our local parks and open spaces, and we have to share them with other park users. So we see various different park users here, various different things happening. We've got people playing with their dogs. We've got dogs on the lead and off the lead. We can see the dog with the yellow coat. It says, "I'm nervous." So this dog wouldn't want any unwelcome approaches from other dogs. So it's all about being responsible, keeping our dogs under control. This is where the recall is particularly useful, because if a dog does run up to somebody, we want to be able to recall it very, very quickly. We can also see lots of different distractions. We've got people with push chairs. We've got people jogging. We've got all sorts of things going on. During lockdown, lots of people got puppies, and they weren't socialised because they couldn't socialise them. And we've got lots of dogs now, a couple of years later, that aren't used to some of the distractions that we see. So the Good Citizen Dog Training Scheme is a good way of helping to socialise these dogs. Now we've got a pond in the middle, full of wildlife. You can see our ducks. Of Because dogs shouldn't be going into ponds and lakes and interfering with the wildlife. So we keep our dogs under control, probably putting them on the lead when we're around a lake or a pond or something like that. For out and about in the countryside, of course, we've got the added consideration of wild stock. We might come through farmers' fields, and there might be a right of way, in which case we need to keep our dogs on a lead. Now here we see these people stopped by the field with the sheep and the cows, but because they're behind the fence, because it's livestock, we don't go anywhere near them. We walk away. Perhaps take a selfie if you really must. Now also, while we're out and about, we might stop at an outdoor picnic area, or in this case, a pub garden. Lots of pubs and cafes now welcome well-mannered dogs. And this is where, when we were looking at the food manners earlier on, and the stay exercise that you're going to see in a short while, this is where we use it when we're out and about in everyday life with our dogs. So we've got the pub scene here. We've got the dogs waiting nicely by the side. They're not jumping up and demanding food or demanding attention. All nicely under control. And this would have been after lots of work with the stay exercises and food manners, where we make sure the dogs refuse any food unless it's given to them specifically by the handler. Right, you're spending too much time drinking, you people. You're drunk. Right, next we're going to look at send the dog to bed. Now, sending the dog to bed is not a punishment. The dog's bed is a safe place in your home or in your environment where it can go. It might need time out. You might have young children that have kept the dog going for hours and hours already. The dog needs some time out. You might have visitors that perhaps don't like dogs, allergic to dogs. You might have dropped something in the kitchen. You don't want the dog to step in it. We send it to bed. So this is required at the gold level of the scheme, but we've decided to turn it into a bit of a game. So this is when you can clap and shout and cheer, because they all take this very seriously, this little competition. We've got 3 heats, and the winner from each heat goes through to a final. It's the first one whose dog goes to bed. Now, of course, we are working with dogs, so I haven't a clue what's going to happen next. But please clap, cheer, shout, scream, and do whatever you want. So, handlers, send your dog to bed. Is there a win on the far side? Win on the far side. 1 into the final already. Somebody doesn't want to leave their bed. I think they're a bit attached to the bed. Handlers, send your dog to bed. Oh, it's a win in the middle. Oh, I thought we were going to refuse to go to bed there for a second. So that's 2 down. 1 more heat. Now, the one on this side's really, really fast, so don't blink, folks, because you'll miss it. Exceptionally fast, this dog. Handlers, send your dog to bed. Send your dog to its own bed. We've got a winner. Lilo's not going to bed. We've got arguments going on here. I'm not going to bed. Good old Lilo, you never know what's going to happen. Right, next is the final. Who is going to be the champion at Crufts 2023 on a Saturday from the Kennel Club's Good Citizen Dog Training Scheme at sending the dog to bed? They were all pretty quick in their own heats, so this could be over in a flash. Is it going to go according to plan? No cheating. No cheating. These are gold level dogs. Handlers, send your dog to bed. Oh, and it was very close, but it was a win on this side. Give them all a big round of applause, folks. They've all done extremely well. Remember, sending the dog to bed is not a punishment, and it's a requirement at the gold level of the scheme. And next, we're going to look at what we call stop the dog. Sometimes when we're out and about, we might foresee some kind of emergency that we need to stop the dog very quickly for. Something that the dog hasn't considered, probably because it's having a great time. It could be that the dog's coming back to you and you can see glass on the floor in front of you. Could be an oncoming vehicle. It might be another dog or a group of dogs about to come around a corner that your dog can't see. So we're going to look at various ways that we stop the dog. So first of all, one at a time, we're seeing the handler walk away, call the dog, and then stop the dog on command. That was well done. So we're using toys to get the distance with the dog running away from us. Dog stops. And it's important that the handler goes to the dog to put it on the lead. This time we've got the dog coming towards us. Nice little stop there on command. This time the dog's going away. And on its return with its toy. Desperate to give his toy to Mum, but trusts Mum that there is an emergency why it needs to stop. Again, stopped on command. Always important though that we go to the dog. You can see she's sending the dog back into its position to put the lead on. Right, now, we decided that we'd turn this into a bit of a game, which the team have become very competitive at. So we're going to place in the middle of the arena a £5 note, a whole Kennel Club £5 note. And we're going to expect the handlers to leave the dog on one side of the arena, walk to the other side, and to stop the dog on the £5 note. And if it does it, it's going to win the £5. Very generous, don't you think? But to show us, we've got little Alex and his dad. Andy's going to be the handler, and Alex is the dog. He's just had his stay command. He's going to show us exactly how this is going to work now. Oh, see, they all do this. They say, there's the money to the dog. They find any little way they can. And he's recalling him. Alex, the dog, here he goes. Is he going to stop him in time? Oh, on the £5 note. And he wins the money. Well done, Alex. Well done, Alex. So, first we've got Mandy. So Mandy with Evie. Left Evie in the stay. She's pointed to the £5. Are we going to get Evie to stop on a £5 note? Can you all see that £5, folks? Is it clear enough? Good. Not that I've got any bigger ones. Oh no, unfortunately. The dog was a whisker away. Sorry, Mandy, nothing for Evie today. Bourbon with Hev next. Is Bourbon going to do it? Can Bourbon win Hev 5 whole Kennel Club pounds? Do we think they can do it, folks? You got confidence. Oh, on the £5. On the £5. Well done. That's a £5 for Hev. Next we've got Hayley with Herbie. Penny. Oh, it's Penny, sorry. Penny. What's going on? Oh. Hayley's put down a challenge. If I can get my dog to stop on a penny, will you give me £20? I think we'll accept that. Not that I have the authority to do that on behalf of the Kennel Club, but hey, it's Crufts. So, Penny, going down in the middle of the ring. Can little Penny stop on a penny? Do we think the dog's going to do it? Are you just optimistic? There's lots of you not saying anything. On the penny. 20 whole Kennel Club pounds going to young Penny, aptly named. Perhaps you should call it £50, your next dog. Does this mean you're doing it again? No, we're not. Oh, I see. This is what we call the crossover now. So we're next going on to the call. We were looking earlier over in that corner at this corner at the various different types of recall that we have. We started with the puppies on the lead, and then the bronze dogs off the lead over 10 paces, and then the silver dogs going further, and then the gold dogs rejoining the handlers and walking away. So we're going to look at a recall now, where the handlers are going to leave their dog and go and stand next to somebody else's dog, and they're all going to recall their dogs at the same time. So the dogs have the added distraction of seeing oncoming dogs, and also they're getting confused because their handlers are next to somebody else's dog. So when you're ready, folks, leave your dogs. That was impressive on its own. And recall your dogs. And it doesn't matter how long it takes to come back. The main thing is they come back handlers. Well done. Now that was leaving them in the sit position. This time, we're going to leave the dogs in the down position. So exactly the same, but this time we're going to settle them in the down. Somebody wants to run. There we go. Handlers, leave your dogs. I think there's one dog that really liked the big stage, don't you? Recall your dogs. And hopefully everybody got the right dog back. They did indeed. Well done. Give them a big round of applause, folks. So that's the recall in action with lots of distractions around them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we're coming towards the end of our very short demonstration of the Kennel Club's Good Citizen Dog Training Scheme. We are in Hall 3, all 4 days of Crufts this year, so if you'd like to come and visit us at the stand, we can tell you how you can get involved in the scheme, where your nearest clubs are, and that kind of thing, and a little bit more detail about what's involved. Or you can always look us up after Crufts at the Kennel Club website, www.thekennelclub.org.uk. But ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, for now, we will leave the final word with the Kennel Club's Good Citizen Dog Training Scheme.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for our brilliant Kennel Club Good Citizen Dog Scheme display.